What's up, guys? It is The Real Deal with Casey and Jason. This is show number 1.
Episode 1, man. Episode 1.
So we've been talking for a while about doing a podcast. I don't know, 6 months?
Yeah, maybe even longer than that. I mean, as far as if you consider like talking about doing something like this together, maybe podcast kind of is really what we honed in on like 6 months ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely been talking about it for a while, and it kind of came about, I would say, like we have a lot of conversations. We our offices are next to each other. Obviously we work together in different capacities, but we have a lot of conversations. And I think, I don't know, a couple months ago we were like, man, we should record this. Somebody would find this interesting. This would help somebody, and it would be captured, because this is good stuff that we were talking about. And we just have a lot of these conversations. So eventually we got to a point where we're like, you know what, we're going to record it. We are not technical people.
No.
We don't know how podcasts work. We didn't know what equipment we needed. We didn't know what kind of computer we needed to run this thing. But here we are. We're making it happen. This is episode number 1. We've had some help from a few different people. One of them is next to us, and he will remain unnamed for the now.
I don't know. I might name him.
For the time being. But that's how it came about. So these conversations that we've had came up with the name The Real Deal. That was you.
Yeah, I mean, we were floating stuff back and forth for a while, trying to find things that were authentic to us. One of them being real estate, right? Casey is a loan officer. That's the right term, right? I never know what to call you guys.
Yeah, loan officer. That works.
Loan officer. And I'm a real estate agent. So that's, as far as the real deal, right? That's kind of the first layer to it. But the other part of that is, we want to share our real life experiences with other people.
Yep.
We want to learn from other people and their real life experiences. So kind of real deal, playing on real estate, but also playing on authenticity, things that have worked in our lives, things that have worked in other people's lives or didn't work in our life or other people's lives, that we can share with other people. And we talk about this all the time. If anything that we share helps somebody, whether we're fortunate enough to get 500 episodes in or 5, then it was worth it.
Yep, for sure. And then, the big thing we've all talked about with all these different names is, and The Real Deal plays into this, but being authentic. Like, we don't want to do this to, there's no hidden agenda. We're not trying to sell anything. We're not trying to come to anybody as a place of, like elevation or that we're better than anybody. Yeah. It's not about that at all. It's just about, like you said, shared our experiences, things that we've came across that have helped make our lives better. We're always searching for the next, the better version of ourselves. It's a constant evolution. So we're going to bring you guys along with us. Appreciate you being here if you're still listening. And this is just, again, the first of many. So some of the things we're going to cover, let's just kind of like go down the list, because when we started this, we don't want it to be, I don't want it to be a mortgage podcast.
Right.
You don't want it to be a real estate podcast. That's what we do, which is great. And it's going to come up and we're going to talk about it without a doubt. But, really all the things that we would have conversations about and how this all started was really, rarely, it was career related, I would say, more than specific to like real estate or mortgages, but a lot of other things we have in common. So do you want to take us from the top of like, so we've known each other a while.
Yeah, I think that's some perspective. I don't know if people care to know that or not, but I think it's important.
I think so. I think we share it.
We've probably known each other, I don't know, maybe you were 6, 5, maybe less than that.
Yeah, I'm thinking like first probably, memory. I mean, we grew up on Grove Neck Road, which if you're not from Earlville, Maryland, then you wouldn't know where Grove Neck Road is. But grew up down there at the end of, very, very small town, even smaller community at the end of there.
Yeah, played Little League Baseball is kind of really where Casey and I developed our friendship. And that started, probably 5 or 6 years old. And we carried that all throughout, however long that goes in Little League into high school baseball. And I don't think, I know we purposely didn't end up in these industries. I didn't purposely end up as a real estate agent. Maybe you wanted to be a loan officer. I don't know, but
no.
It's kind of crazy how we ended up in the same town that, not that that's too far-fetched, but we both ended up in the same town where we played high school baseball, ended up in industries that are partner industries.
Yeah.
And I'd come over to Casey's office a lot. He'd pop over to mine, and we just found ourselves having conversations that really centered around personal development, everything from health and fitness, to how we can have stronger relationships each other with our friends and families, build some wealth and things like that.
Yep, absolutely. And didn't mention football yet, but we did play football together in high
we
school
played football
too.
together. That's right. Yes, we did.
So doing that, all through high school. And then, so we kind of both had similar paths as well. Went to college, both of us.
Yeah.
Both graduated with some student loan debt.
Yeah, I still have it.
Still working on that. Worked for, you worked for the county.
Yeah.
And I was working for, I did a handful of things. I actually got into mortgages directly after I graduated.
Yeah, I remember knowing that, when you came back to Universal, I guess it was at the time.
Yep.
It was like you coming back. It wasn't like a new thing for you that you would. My memory pieces things together very oddly, but I knew it wasn't your first go round at it.
It was a short stint, so I did it for about a year, and basically the story there is, so I graduated, and I had a good friend that was working for a company. He was doing really well. I'm like 21 at the time, graduating college.
Yeah.
He's a year or two older than me, and he's making good money, and he's working for a company doing manufacturing, and I'm like, all right, well, I'll just get a job there. My dad had worked there at the time for a long time. He had other family friends that worked there. So I'm like, I'll just get a job there. I got a degree. Like, he's making good money already. I'll be able to kind of step in.
That works.
Yeah, work my way up. So I graduated in August 2010. And the first week I'm home, I'm like, all right, getting all settled in back in Cecil County. And I applied there. I had an interview on the phone. I'm like, crushed it. Definitely getting in here. I'll pull some strings. He ends up losing his job, just a fluke thing. And then he's like, dude, what are we going to do? I need a job. Yeah. Is your brother still doing that mortgage thing? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I guess we're going to go do mortgages. So called my brother and I'm like, hey, just graduated, was planning on doing this other thing, but I'm going to come work with you in the mortgage business.
Yeah.
So it was a short stint. It was about a year. 2010, dude, a weird time in the real estate market. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, I got this college degree. I want a salary. I want some paid time off. 100% commission wasn't doing it for me. So ended up doing a couple different things. And then it was about the same time. It was 2016. I remember kind of having that conversation with my brother again. Mm-hmm. I'm like, hey man, this whole corporate world thing is great. I got a young kid. I want an opportunity to do more, earn more. So I'm coming back to work in the mortgage business. And it was that same time, I think I met up with you. Yeah. And you were like, dude, I'm about done with the county.
Yeah. I think I got my license in 2015 and I worked for the county, salaried job, 9 to 5 thing. And it was great. As far as stability. Yeah. Right. It was great. But I was looking to find a way to make some extra money on the side. Your brother was in mortgages. My dad was in real estate. Yep. It seems to be a family thing.
Family connection.
Yep. Yeah. And my dad just kind of put the bug in my ear to get my real estate license. And I did it part-time for 2 years and was like, so I can do this for what seemed like at the time next to no time investment. Just comparatively speaking, right? You work a 9 to 5 for 40 hours, and I might have been working real estate part-time for 5 or 10 a week, maybe, but making the same amount of money. And I was like, this is a no-brainer to me. If I can just put all of my time and energy into this, then obviously I can hopefully make more money, but more important to me at the time was having the flexibility. And what I considered at the time, and maybe it wasn't the right word, but the freedom to just kind of create my own life. Yeah. And I still work for a broker, right? I'm not Jason Zhang Incorporated. Yeah. But the flexibility is
night and day difference.
It's huge. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was the same, catalyst for me was, I was commuting from Clayton, Delaware at the time to North Wilmington. I had my daughter was really young, and I'm like, man, I'm leaving before she gets up. I'm getting home. I see her for 30 minutes, and then she goes down to bed. Right. I'm like, yeah, I can't do it, man. I'm getting, and I had, my brother and then other guys that were like older brothers to me and still are, that were in the mortgage business. And I'm like, man, they don't miss their kids' games. Like they, they drive nice vehicles. They, travel a lot. I'm like, man, I want that. Like, I know I can do it. I'm going to get back into it. So, anyway, we digress.
Which I'm sure we'll do a lot.
Yeah, which is fine. But just some other topics. So other things that have come up, I'll say recently, or things we've talked about before that we're going to bring to you guys on this show, again, in addition to what we do, really like personal development. I think we both, look, I mean, being athletes, you always kind of have that attitude thing that you're always working on,
drive,
because it's so important. But then in the real world, it is too. But then there's like a lot of things that I start laughing, thinking about some of these things that have come up recently, like like that we get into with personal development.
Yeah,
that some people might be like, "What the hell are you guys talking about?"
Yeah,
one being cold plunges. Let's just start there.
Yeah, I don't even think it was my idea. I know it wasn't my idea. Two of my buddies, it was my buddy Steven's idea, and our mutual buddy Charlie jumped in on it with us.
How's that going? Is Charlie still?
I don't know.
Is he still locked in with you guys?
No. We only did it like as a group. We only cold plunged as a group the first time, and it, again, not my idea, so I can't take the credit. But it was, I want to say it was probably Charlie's idea to cold plunge in the Chesapeake Bay at 4:45 a.m. on a very cold morning. And it was miserable. It was awful. And but here we are. Today was day 16. I did it this morning. And it's, I can't sit here and say like, oh, I'm a changed man because I got cold plunge. But yeah, there are some subtle things 16 days in that I have noticed. And I think the most important thing for me is, which we've talked about, is putting yourself in an uncomfortable position, something that you don't want to do, that there is this temporary pain or discomfort or whatever the case may be, and then on the other side of that, you can reap some health benefits from it. And even if it's only just, again, like not wanting to be in that situation and persevering through it.
Yep, 100%. And I couldn't agree more. We're going to dig into that for sure. We'll do a whole episode on cold plunges.
Casey is like pseudo cold plunge. I mean, I consider it to be. It's not just me.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm in it, dude. And I'm going to lean more into it. Right now it's cold showers for me, but we're definitely going to lean into it. Yeah. And I'm excited to talk to share our experiences with that.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's one of the things that's come up recently. What else? Like with like some books that we've read, either share with each other, and we've both read the book, and then we've had like these, conversations about this. Like, man, I never thought about it like that, but we really related, I think, to how we read and understood some of the things. So we'll talk some about that. Definitely going to share, stuff about sports. That's a big part of what we do. Health
and fitness, I know for both of us is huge.
Yep.
And, I was a high school football coach wherever you went to high school. I started in 2012. It's funny. I got a Facebook memory yesterday from our head coach at the time.
Yep.
That had written on my wall, I guess it was 11 years ago yesterday, that said, "Hey, Jason, can you stop by school? I have something important to talk to you about." And that was the conversation where he was like, "Hey, you want to jump on board and coach?" Which is funny. I did not know that until yesterday.
Wow.
That it was like the 11-year anniversary, which is just cool. It's just cool.
That is cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, been doing it since then. And, Case, where was I going with this?
I don't know, but it ties right into another thing that we always talk about, and something that we're big on, that we're going to talk obviously on the podcast about, is like helping people.
Yeah.
And like being a mentor to people. Because I think, coaching, like what a better way to do that. You get to connect with people when they're younger. They're not, and be a great role model for them. So,
well, and I know where I was going with it. So being a football coach and being a competitive guy, like my fitness journey, call it whatever, lifestyle, is a lot centered around being able to keep up with those high school kids.
Yeah.
you know? And so like, I never wanted to be a coach that like couldn't do it after I said it.
Yeah.
You know, you got to do it. And look, there are high school athletes that are a lot more talented than I am at football. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying like, if I wanted to demonstrate how to do something, that I could demonstrate it and not injure myself.
Yeah.
You know, and I do like the competitive aspect of it. There have been many kids over the years who have challenged me to races, all of which I'm sure I still have to actually race. So that we might have to do that at some point.
Let's be honest. You'd smoke a lot of these kids
I think I would. And I if they're listening, they know exactly who they are. But,
so we'll set that up. We'll make that an episode.
But yeah, so that's where health and fitness started for me. And now I've found that I'm in a community, whether it's, you know, best friends, you know, us, you know, me and my buddy Steven work out together 4 mornings a week usually, and at a gym in Middletown called The Village, which just awesome people. And then a couple days a week up at Titus Sports Academy where I used to work. And I can't say enough about like just the impact that those people, first of all, amazing people.
Yeah.
And that's most important to me.
Yeah.
Like I walk in there and I know that like I've got good people taking care of me, like good people that want to be around me and like invest in me. Like that's real, both at the Village and at Titus. But I started working at Titus, I think back probably around that same time I started coaching, maybe like 2011, and I could be way off, but it was somewhere around there. And I don't work there anymore, but now I get to go back and kind of like learn from and train with like some of the guys and girls that I coached.
Yeah.
And man, that is 100% a part of my day that I absolutely look forward to because of the amazing people that they are. Not to mention I think they're like the gold standard for training athletes.
Yeah.
Like they are so legit, but first and foremost, just amazing people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's an interesting too, so that's kind of what started your journey was coaching.
Yeah.
And then so I didn't know that. So here we're learning things too. But really like centered around helping people, right? Like I think that's a big focus for us. And like we've talked about, like if we can do this show, right, and everything that goes into it, and help one person that maybe is feeling stuck or feeling like we were when we were in those corporate jobs before we jumped into what we're doing now, and into like the 100% commission world that's so scary to people because you know, we're kind of conditioned not to do that, I think. I mean, we're fortunate we have family that did that and kind of led the way for us. But if we can help one person with that, or with something that we talk about, or maybe we jumpstart someone's fitness journey. Another thing, you know, we'll just kind of breeze through here, but like, you know, things that are going to come up is alcohol, right? And like, you know, lack of using it or, you know, kind of what that journey has been for both of us.
Yeah.
Another big thing I want to just hit on is that we also talked a lot about people we run into and we get to interact with because of our work. And we have a lot of cool conversations that in my prior job, I didn't get a chance to have. I just had a kind of a smaller circle. So we want to bring some people here too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
And interview them and like just dig in a little bit to their story, because this could be a platform to help them get their story out that might help somebody.
Platform to help them get their story out. Like you said, that could help somebody. I also know that you and I will learn a lot.
Yes. 100%
is secondary, but like I don't know if you've already mentioned this or not. I think you did. Like we're not coming from a place of like being all knowing. We're coming from a place of like, man, we have a ton to learn, but you know, this is, maybe I've already said it. You can see how my memory works. You know, we've each gone through things that worked for us or didn't work for us, and we just want to share that stuff. And I think it's helpful that other people that we interact with can do the same. Yeah,
I think that's a big key theme of this too, is going to be that we're coming at this exactly like you said, from a place of learning and gaining knowledge and understanding and getting better, not as a place, you know, we want to reiterate that of like, we're better than anybody, because that's not, you know, we want that to be loud and clear that, you know, we're just sharing experiences. But something else here, I like this one too. And this is going to be a segment, I think, on every podcast that we do. So maybe we just kick it off now. We're going to get a little weather update from your boy, Jason, because you're a weather, what do you call that?
I would just call it enthusiast.
Enthusiast, okay.
Yeah.
We're weather enthusiast.
That means like I have like, I'm just excited about it.
Yeah. But I was actually, another thing I learned about you. You have some fairly deep knowledge of weather and how it works.
I mean,
Compared to the layman.
yeah. So my journey with weather is just finding people mainly on social media that I've been able to trust, and that's tough with weather, right? Because weather changes all the time, and everybody talks about weathermen and weatherwomen. Like, why do you even pay them? Because like they're always wrong.
50-50.
Right.
My grandfather was always like 50-50 chance it's gonna rain.
And yeah, to a degree, like right, but they're forecasting based on patterns that they see, and they're not trying to mislead anybody, right? So
yeah,
I've always kind of like had some empathy for those people, and so over the years I've gone through probably wasn't the right thing to say. I have observed and listened to, learned from all sorts of weather personalities, and so I have found a few that just the way that they deliver it makes sense to me, and like I feel like they explain things well, and I would venture to say that more often than not I can lean on their forecast because of kind of like how they deliver their message. And so yes, it means a lot to me. Like I love the snow. If it's going to snow,
let's get that out there.
I can tell you exactly who I would go to.
So what do we got coming up for the weather here? And guys, just to set the stage here, in case you're listening from, in case you're not local here to Earlville, Cecil County, Maryland, shout out.
Chesapeake City.
In case you're not local, that's where we're from. We are at the top. I explained to everyone, if you're not familiar with Maryland, the northeastern corner of Maryland, which is at the very top of the Chesapeake Bay.
Yeah, and yes. So look,
did I put you on the spot?
You did, but I'm okay with it. Today's Friday, January 6th. I haven't been outside in 2 hours maybe, but it says it's going to be 48 degrees today. Slight chance of showers, which the ground was wet when we woke up.
Okay,
right.
Yes.
I know that because I let my dog out and I had to wipe his paw so when he comes back into the house, he leaves little paw print tracks.
Same.
Casey just got a puppy.
Yes, that's on the list too. We're gonna talk about.
Yeah, and then it just getting down to right around freezing, which I would consider today a very seasonable. Some people might say, oh, it's warm, but I think it's a very seasonable winter day.
And temps are dropping tonight.
Yeah,
I did see that. So I'm also a hunter, so that might come up. I know you're not really a hunter, but I go hunting, as we say in Cecil County. So I do have to check the weather. You have to dress appropriately, right? If we're going to be getting up at whatever time in the morning and going out there and sitting in the woods all day, which, so I did check. It is going to be getting colder. Mm-hmm. So we're talking under freezing temps.
Like a little pattern change in the next 10 to 12 days as far as, when anybody says pattern change, they're typically talking about more of an extended period of something different than what it is right now.
Yep.
So it's been pretty mild here lately. Over the past week or so.
Getting up to the 60s, yeah.
Yeah, and so it looks like there is a pattern change for how long, I don't know, coming in the next 10 to 12 days. So we'll be able to verify that. So I don't know, we'll be on here within the next 10 to 12 days, I'd imagine, and we'll talk about that pattern change.
We will be back to you on that. General format that we're going to kind of bring. And guys, this is a work in progress.
Big time.
All right, so we're going to start this thing, and it's going to evolve. What we want to try to do is bring the conversations. Again, I keep beating this point home, but if we're going to be trying to have conversations like we do and bringing the guests on, talking about these different things, personal development, health and fitness, sports, specifically Philly sports, I would say. Mm-hmm. Both, big Eagles, Phillies fans. And we got a lot of exciting stuff coming up with the Eagles season. Again, the real estate mortgage stuff will be mixed in. Small town, that's us. We'll be telling some stories too. We'll go back. We did this the other day when you came in, just sharing some stories from Little League baseball way back in the day. So we'll share some of that stuff with you, and we're gonna hit our weather updates, and talk about our dogs a little bit, talk about family, talk about all the stuff. So
yeah, I think today is kind of. Like you said, it's a work in progress. It's kind of like us figuring out what this looks like. But to somebody who's going to listen, I do want to let them know that we are going to have some sort of topic, some sort of guest, whatever that may be. It's not just going to be, it will be a hodgepodge of everything, but kind of underneath a certain umbrella for that, if that makes sense.
Yes, we're going to try to stay on topic as much as we can to what the episode is. But again, looking forward to it. I'm excited. This is way out of our comfort zone, which is awesome. but really looking forward to it and what this morphs into, which, you know, we kind of set a vision for it. And we're going to reach some people, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, this isn't going to be like just a hobby, right?
Yeah. And this is something that you and I have talked about a lot. I think more than anything, being consistent is going to help us in anything, in cold plunging, in working out, in reading, in if you want to wake up 15 minutes earlier, like whatever the case may be, or if you want to get more sleep, like be more consistent with that. Like, you know, if we do this more, which I know you and I know me that we will, then it's going to evolve and it's going to go in that direction that we want it to. But consistency is the key.
For sure. Well, we'll wrap it there for the episode number 1.
Yeah, real quick, I should have said this at the beginning, but Casey and I talked briefly before this started. We didn't even know how to turn on this stuff, these microphones, this iPad, any of this stuff.
It's all new.
Yeah, and I've known who I'm going to call our producer, Nick, for a long time, and I like to give what I call flowers to people. That's a Gary Vee thing, which I don't know if most people probably know Gary Vee, but Nick has been instrumental in helping us get this up and running, figuring out what's what. I still don't know what's what.
Literally could not have done it without him.
Could not have done it without him. And I just want to publicly express my gratitude to Nick as a friend.
Same.
As a person, as a friend, and as, someone who helped us get this thing up and running, because I don't know if this is going to last a year or 20 years or 2 days. I don't know, but we wouldn't be right here without Nick.
100%. 100%.
That's all I got.
Let's do it. Well, that's it. So episode 1's in the books. We'll see you again. We're going to keep this thing coming out regular so that we can share all this wonderful stuff with you. And until then,
I don't know how we
keep
sign
it
off
real.
yet.
No, that's Brad Lee's sign off. We got to say, we got to come up with a sign off.
Okay.
We'll work on it.